David Brenner started out as a stand-up comic in Philadelphia and here in New York in clubs like the Improvisation and Catch a Rising Star. But now he's starting a new career as the star of a TV situation comedy. The show is called Snip, and it was just out of the starting gate at the beginning of the TV season when it was canceled. But we still may be able to see it. Tom Snyder talked with him in California.
You'll break your heart into a billion pieces as he styles and combs and teases. He's a very versatile guy.
A gay man kisses a black woman
Yeah,
on
but
Snip.
that's you gotta wait.
Till you write it'll take time. He never takes a break time.
I don't have time to give you a permanent. I can give you a temporary.
You never wanna leave his chair. David, you got
When David, it's nice to see you again. What was the compulsion, if you will, the desperation to get you out from behind the cameras and place you in front of them?
Two things. One, I felt like I did it. I mean, everything that was to be done in television, behind the scenes, I had done. Like I said, I wrote, I produced, I directed films.
Triple
children.
threat, as I recall.
Yeah, triple threat man, could do it all. I felt I did it. The second thing, last documentary I did for educational TV was another poor show. Another show about poor people. And I went out and they started telling me, here's what we want to get. I said, I've done a lot of poverty shows. I know exactly what shots you want. I know. And I thought, on location, I thought, when you do a documentary about poor people and you finish and you're packing your station wagon, driving away with the film crew, and they're all out there for that wonderful experience, all the poor people waving goodbye, you know if you come back in 5 years, they're going to be standing on the same porch in the same condition, waving hello. So what am I doing? How much of a niche do you cut into it?
We never did the documentary that we wanted to do about the richest people in the world who didn't give a damn about the poor people.
Yeah.
Remember you remember that?
I decided to try to become one instead.
How you doing at that, all right?
I'm getting rich.
Good for you. Now, you went on the Carson show, and you were an overnight sensation, as they say, having worked around at a lot of clubs for a lot of hours before you finally got there. And you have made a success of yourself at stand-up comedy, doing your own material, and material which you steal from other comedians.
Never steal.
Maybe a switch here and there. And now you're going into Snip, which is a situation comedy.
Is it possible that David Brenner, who is very good at stand-up comedy, is not built or cut out or intended to be a star of a situation comedy on television?
Well, the real test of that will be the public response to it. However, if you think about it, it's all comedy. Whether it's a different kind of a joke because there are other people around you. It's like doing a monologue in a sense, but there are other people. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a character in Snip. You knew me as a producer. Now, I was funny. You may not want to say that on the air, but you know I was a funny...
You were a funny guy.
Right?
You were a great guy, a sensational guy, an inept guy.
I was funny.
Yes, you were.
Producer.
And I heard all your jokes in the car.
Right. Now you'd have to pay for them. All right, I was a funny producer. Now, suppose I had become a hairdresser. I would have been a funny hairdresser. And that's what I'm doing in Snip. I'm taking the same idea of David Brenner, who was a funny producer, funny writer, funny comedian, now a funny hairdresser. If I can capture that, then the audience will find the realism. Because they're, in comedy, of course there's realism.
When will we get to see that show? I don't want to go into the history, but it was on the schedule for the September start of the fall season on NBC.
Yeah, right.
And they ran some promos on the network, and then somebody read somewhere that it was canceled, and then that was changed to postponed. Now, I understand that it's postponed in Hollywood, but it's canceled in New York. What is the difference between cancellation and postponement as you have been led to understand it?
As I understand it, knowing the minds that work the business, I have trouble scheduling, I have trouble scheduling my life, They are postponing it until a possible January start. Snip will probably go on in January. We thought we might go on ahead of time if a show fell out where we could fit in. So we're going on in January.
But hopefully. They don't have any 36-minute slots, do they?
No, the shows are running long, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Well, you know what they say? The laughs are too long. If you want to know the truth, the laughs are too long. They're going to have to cut it. That's the truth.
Or have them turn off the machine, one of the two.
No machine.
When they told you that Snip was not going to be on the air in September, what'd you think?
I make a great living as a stand-up comedian. I mean, we had a 5-week hiatus now, and I played Vegas for a week, and I go around. I don't care as far as, if Snip works, I like it to work, because it exposes me to more people on a regular basis every week. But with all the heavy TV I do, I have a career. I'd like to make the people laugh in a situation comedy. If I don't, I'll just go back to, I'm on the club road anyway, you know.
In other words, it really doesn't make any difference to you.
It doesn't make that big a difference to me because I'm still making people laugh.
It really doesn't make that much of a difference. Suppose that it goes on for 4 weeks and goes off. Now you got a flop on your hands attached to your name. You don't have one of those yet. You know what I mean?
Then what that might prove, let's say it were my fault. Let me say it is my fault. I get on, Snip fails, and they say the reason it fails, David Brenner wasn't funny, or he couldn't carry the character.
Sure, because you're the head guy.
Yeah, he couldn't act or anything else. That means the public did not buy me as a comedian in situation comedy. But I'm breaking house records in clubs wherever I go, so they're buying me as a live performer, and that's good enough for me. And they're buying me on The Tonight Show, and that's good enough for me. So that means stay away from situation comedy.
David, thank you for spending this time with us. It was good to see you again, and keep going, because without you, America would be lost.